My friend Aaron Koblin collaborated with all of you on one of the more interesting projects here, the New York Talk Exchange, which I got to know Aaron because we've created a cultural institution in San Francisco together, and this was a project that was in the Museum of Modern Art. And it's interesting that this one project had a lot of the issues that we're coming up against. This basically was a project that looked at AT&T IP data between New York and different cities in the world to begin to get at a world where the growth issue is really around cities. How do neighborhoods map into different countries? How are people collaborating? And this one project kind of got to a number of these things. First of all, this rich thing became the basis of a number of graduate research theses that looked at the nature of commerce and immigrant populations between the cities. So the very fact that you could get at ambient data told you a lot. It also showed the power of aggregate data and raised the question that if you could actually go down to the individual level and go down to what's going on between firms, you could learn so much more. And it also hit this theme of culture and visualization, because this thing became culture. It went to the Museum of Modern Art, and it became part of this conversation of how does the general populace begin to see that when we have access to all of this stuff, our understanding of ourselves and our world begins to change. All of this in one project. I caught up with Aaron recently and had him walk me through some of the things he learned.
Basically, it's visualizing the relationship of New York to the other major cities across the globe. So you can see the quantity of calls from a specific location with New York over time. And we also drill down into specific areas of New York into the boroughs to show kind of the relationships of those specific areas. It's interesting because you can see the ways that times actually change the relationship to New York, and kind of who's kind of depending on who for the time zone shift. So this is taking a look at the specifics of New York. So we've broken it down into boroughs, and we've broken the boroughs down into subsections. We're basically looking at how those individual sections communicate with the rest of the world. So you can see kind of basically a look at demographics through the infrastructure of AT&T.
You know, it's interesting that this is a remarkable planning tool working off of digital exhaust. It doesn't require a large of marginal additional cost, and it's an incredible tool for development. Some visualizations like this capture patterns of work and development or furthering our planet, and others get at the very human urge to celebrate, to congregate, and to party, but evidently always with a very healthy dose of digital exhaust fueling us along the way.
So this is looking at the city of Amsterdam as seen through SMS messages. And what you see right now is the daily ebb and flow, people waking up, sending messages, going to sleep, waking up again, sending messages. And now as we move around the city, you're going to see as we approach New Year's Eve, a lot more people send messages, bam. And you see the flux of people all sending that one New Year's Eve message.
You know, when Aaron showed that to me, there was that moment when New Year's Eve happened, and my reaction was when he said bam, to double click on that bam and understand what happened, because he instrumented the hell out of that, and I could tell something more was going on. So then we kind of backed up and took a look at that fascinating moment when things switched.